something to say, there's something to say.
Hey, what's up? It's OurHouse21. I guess it was only just a matter of time before I found myself doing an unboxing video. So let's just go ahead and jump in. This came in the mail today from our friends at Liquid RC. What is it, you might ask? Well, if I can actually pull this apart with one hand, I'll show you. So I've been doing a lot of cold weather bashing with Dizzy here, and as you see, the wonderful paint job that I put on is suffering for it just a little bit, but that's okay. So this paint was actually an experiment in and of itself. It was a plastic paint that I thought was pretty spectacular, and I decided to go ahead and chance it. The problem is the plastic paint was not a Lexan paint. The Lexan paint has additives to it to make it adhere to Lexan much better, and also make it more flexible. The plastic paint's brittle, so as it hit and I did a lot of cool bashing stuff, it just kind of came apart. However, I think it looks kind of cool. However, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about this, but this is a problem for another day. As you can see, even though it is a little worse for wear, it's a cool effect. So I might, the easy idea is just go ahead and strip this paint off and repaint it over. But I'm thinking about maybe doing something that gives it a little bit of a grunged up weathered look, because this is a basher body, and making it look the part, is kind of cool. But that's a topic for another day. What we're talking about here is something I referred to earlier, and the fact that this Slash LCG chassis, and actually all the Slash chassis, just make an incredibly good dirt bucket. When you're cruising around outside, bashing through whatever, this little bucket here, the body chassis, collects an amazing amount of dirt and crud. And it gets inside, and as you can see, the drive shaft has these little score marks on it. There's little pebbles and little things get up against the drive shaft, and it just starts to wear them off. So what do? Well, there are companies out there like Hot Racing that make chassis dirt guards. Now this guy right here is a pretty interesting design, because there's a few of them on the market out there. There's one by J Concepts, which is a Lexan tub, which works. Unfortunately, the problem with that guy is that it doesn't really have a lot of room for, well, it doesn't really promote good airflow. So you end up, having to come up with all sorts of exotic solutions to cut out vents and to make room in it in order to try to get airflow out of it. This is a little different approach. This guy right here is a mesh cover, and it's a very tight mesh, as you can see, that's water resistant, and it fits over the body. So it's elastic on the back, fits over the body, and with the help of Velcro, which comes here in the kit, secures itself to the car and seals it up. So I'm going to go ahead and install this, and I'll check back in and let you guys see what the finished result looks like. So here's the finished result, and as you can see, my kids are playing in the background, so oh well. But as you can see, this actually works out pretty well. It has a very tight mesh material over here, which is water resistant, but it's still allows cooling air to get through. So it's probably going to function pretty well for when you're out and about, just kind of bashing around. It's going to be interesting to see, exactly how well it actually lets cooling air through. But as far as keeping all the debris out of the chassis, it looks pretty good. Now, one little thing I didn't notice is, the Slash just had these little vents on the side here, so this does not block that up. So I'm debating if I want to do something where I physically block that, or just let them open, because it's it's still going to function as cooling air passages to come up and vent here. But the other thing is that I noticed that there was no opening for the antenna hole to come through. So I just took my utility knife and made a very small slit in here so I could just slide this through, and I was very careful to put it right here in the fabric side between the zipper and the mesh, so that way it's still in part material that's strong. It shouldn't compromise the integrity of the material, but yet it allows me to get it on and off very easily. So you see, it's secured with Velcro on the sides, holds pretty good, and I've got the nice zipper pouch finish on either side, so I'm able to get access to my components very quickly. and then seal it back up and get out there and, you know, crush all over again. So all in all, I think it's a really good product. I haven't actually tested it to do a physical run because we're in the middle of getting not quite a blizzard, but a good amount of snow right now. But as soon as it lets up a little bit, I'll probably take it outside and just see what happens. Okay, so after a little bit of bashing outside, I came back in and discovered that as much as I like this cover in principle, you know, it's got some issues. And one is when you have it closed up like that, the mesh is so tight that it actually acts like a little roasting bag. So, you know, things are cooled down a little bit, but essentially my major components had gotten up to about 130 degrees, which isn't that bad. It was well within the comfort range of the motor here, but I was getting shutdowns on the ESC over and over and over again. So for protecting yourself, for being out and, you know, going through the mud and, you know, going through forging rivers and lakes and stuff like that, I think this guy's a great investment. I think it's a good idea. But if you're just going to go out and just be slinging mud and basically just, you know, putting pedal to the metal and going hardcore, you know, this might not really work with you, just because it does make a little oven inside of here. And, you know, like I said, my speed controller is still about 120, 130 degrees. Let's see if I can get the right thing showing. Yeah. So, you know, it's just, it makes a little oven inside. So it's a good product. I would still recommend it. You just need to be aware of what you're getting into. All right. So RHouse21 signing off. And remember, take it, break it, fix it, do it all over again. Fly, fix, fly. See you next time.